Hello, everybody. I count it an honor to be before you today to share with what I believe will go down in history as a pivotal moment in time when we rededicate ourselves to the call of freedom, justice, and equality. As a student of policy and history, one who has studied Dr. King's life extensively among many other notable world changers, it continues to amaze me that the very same struggles our forefathers once faced, we continue to face in the 21st century. It appears that we have gotten ourselves caught in the middle of this high-intensive stationary cycle class where we're getting sweaty from efforts, but we're not actually going anywhere. It concerns me that our nation has the appearance of what seems like a Rolls-Royce body, but we are moving and operating with a lawnmower engine. We continue to fall victim to the same propaganda, the same lies, the same stories that are spilled through the airways of society. Everywhere we turn, we are bombarded by people constantly trying to get us to side with one side and one side with the other side, when the truth of the matter is everybody just needs to sit down, humble themselves, and seek God the Father for direction. But if the truth really be told, and I'm aware that we live in a culture now that sees the word truth as a fallacy and profane language, but somewhere I read that the truth shall set you free. If you would permit me to be candid today, a lot of the ones telling us what to think are not aware that God is just simply doing just what he said he was going to do. Brothers and sisters, children of God, we live in a transitional time, whether you can believe it or not. What many people failed to realize was that Dr. King was trying to transition us as a people and as a nation from living in the valley of the shadow of death into the marvelous light that comes with dwelling on the mountaintop. Dr. King stood for righteousness, but above all the hate mail, above all of the death threats, above all of the backbiters and backstabbers, above what all the negative pundits and naysayers had to say, he chose to soar like an eagle with his eyes toward God and his hands resting in God's hands. As a young man, the old saints taught me the old hymn that used to say, hold to his hand, God's unchanging hand. And then they would say, build your hopes on things eternal. Dr. King taught us to disrupt spaces that were embedded by hatred and bitterness. No longer can we afford to sit down on the sidelines and allow the enemy of this world to cause further divisions in our communities. We are living in some serious times where people are still fighting for equal pay, for equal work, and equal time for equal crime. Fighting for the freedom to vote in fair elections. Drug violence and gang violence has risen, and mass incarceration is now a new fad across political spectrums. One thing I discovered while living this life, and Dr. King's life can attest to the fact that being a bearer of truth comes with a great price. You may have to be like Moses, where you're on top of the mountain all by yourself. You may have to be like Jacob, who wrestled all night long to get his blessing. But one thing remains true, is that eventually all of the fighting will stop. And the same ones that once scandalized your name will come back and say thank you later. It was good for me that I was afflicted, David said, because I knew the Lord would deliver me out of them all. In his sermon, A Knock at Midnight, that he presented to his congregation on February 11th, 1962, Dr. King would state that we are experiencing a darkness so deep that we don't know which way to turn. It's midnight. It's midnight in the social order. How true this statement proves to be today. President Kennedy was right when he said mankind must put an end to war, or war will put an end to mankind. Let's show love. Let's be about our Father's business. Not just on a day that we celebrate Dr. King, but every day of our lives. Thank you so much. God bless.